Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. This isn't 6 things we learned from Chelsea 0 Brentford 2 because I feel as though that would be an injustice to those of you that turn up to this channel after every single match. And for me to say that we learned something from this game would be a lie. I'd be lying to you because we didn't learn anything that we didn't already know from watching this football match tonight. Chelsea were outplayed, but at the same time, I want to take you back to Brentford winning 4-1 at Stamford Bridge last season. Phenomenal Brentford performance, and at the time, we were surprised. Tonight, Brentford weren't even 50% as good as what they were when they beat us 4-1 at the Bridge last season. Brentford tonight did what their obligation as a Premier League club is to do, and that is show up. Any team that plays against Chelsea right now, all they've got to do is go through the motions and you will beat Chelsea Football Club. A few weeks ago, it was you might get a draw and it's still considered a good result. To think that Brentford weren't the favourites for this match tonight, the bookies, if you are a bookie right now and you're listening to me, please start seeing the light. Please start understanding that Chelsea, as of right now, we're not a big club. Right now, we are not a football team. We have won 3 out of I don't know how many games. 17, I think it is, in the Premier League. That is absolutely shocking. And there is a mathematical case where Chelsea can get relegated. And if it wasn't for Thomas Tuchel, thank you, Thomas, and I mean this here, thank you for the 10 points in the first 6 games of the season, because without those, Chelsea are getting relegated. After all of this, to think that we're judging the shit show that's been Todd Boehly's first season as Chelsea owner, we're judging this based off of the manager that we sacked probably 2 managers ago, and we're thanking him for giving us enough points to make this season not a relegation season to the Championship. This is mind-blowing. This is absolutely mind-blowing that as Chelsea fans we've got to a point where we genuinely have to look at a season that isn't even finished and look back to the manager third last in the dugout. Lampard's been in there, Bruno's been in there, Potter's been in there. Oh no, wait, 4. I got it wrong. I absolutely got it wrong. I'm so over this team. I've had enough. I've absolutely had enough. I was so wrong about Frank Lampard, and I don't even apologise for it, because at the time, and this is the thing, right, with football, as a fan, everyone's got the right to their opinions, and I believed that Frank Lampard, after what I saw under Graham Potter, I didn't think it could get any worse. It has. But I thought that Lampard coming in, as much as it definitely does paper over the cracks, and it was a PR stunt to just ignite the fans to believe that Lampard could ignite the players to show up and turn up, beat Real Madrid, and then turn the fortunes around in the league. I was so incredibly wrong. Frank Lampard's record, he's lost 24 matches in the Premier League since I think February 2022 or something along those lines. That is absolutely shambolic. That is a joke. And Frank Lampard, as much as I genuinely do think he's the greatest person who ever lived, Chelsea's greatest ever footballer, how I am so eternally grateful for what he's done for the club, as a manager, Frank Lampard is not it. Frank Lampard has been fortunate enough to get the Chelsea job twice. He's got an Everton job as well, which I think was out of his depth too, hence why he was fired. And then he worked at Derby and did all right. Frank Lampard is not at the level of top Premier League management, and that is talking about not just Chelsea, but all clubs in the Premier League right now have better coaches than Frank Lampard. This is me being brutal, right? I've done this rebuilding Chelsea series, and I think it's very difficult to blame Lampard for the season, but to think that we bought him in to try and kickstart something and he's lost every single match and only scored 1 goal. Chelsea players have scored more goals in our own net than we've scored under Frank Lampard. 5 defeats in a row is beyond dismal, and it is at a point now where I've said, if it's Pochettino, great, but after he watched that, then maybe he's going to change his mind last minute and not sign that contract. I was thinking it might be a bad idea to bring the new manager in now, because what's he going to do with these players? What is he going to do other than already fighting a losing battle because he's an ex-Spurs manager? Some people won't be able to forget that. You're fighting a losing battle, so why bring him in now when we know how bad we are? We don't care. Raheem Sterling wishes he was still at Manchester City, beating Arsenal 4-1 in the Premier League to go on and probably win another Premier League title in a row. He don't want to be playing for the battle of the top of the league in the bottom half of the table, which Brentford have absolutely demolished us in, by the way. Chelsea Football Club are a joke. And if we even get Pochettino now, we are lucky. I was sitting here a couple of weeks ago saying, Pochettino coming in, I'm not interested in him, I want Nagelsmann, I want Enrique. Who even am I to say that? None of these top managers want to manage this football team. Chelsea need a clear out, but after what I saw tonight, right, Aubameyang, 15 minutes at the start of the second half, got more shots on target than I remember watching in the Premier League from us all season. That is, I know it's a massive exaggeration, but nothing changed. This is the problem, right? Frank Lampard, I don't think there's a single person, please let me know if you're one of these few. Is there anybody who looked at that lineup tonight and thought, all right, I think this could work? Frank Lampard seems to be the only bloke. So at this point, Pochettino, I want him in now. I want him to come in now because, quite frankly, Frank isn't a Premier League football manager. Pochettino, whether you can get over the Spurs thing or not, he's a good manager. He might not be the best manager in the world, but he's a good manager. These Chelsea players need a rocket, and I've said this 5 games ago. I said it 5 games ago, but unfortunately, Chelsea have to turn up and play matches. And by the way, where do we get points? Where do we get anything? We got Arsenal away, Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest, who are actually fighting for something. Chelsea are genuinely, for our own good, in the worst position we could be in. We would actually, this sounds ridiculous, we could be better off being 14th or 15th, only 5 points above the drop right now. That actually could be better for us. Am I losing my mind here? Like, the fact that Chelsea Football Club are in 11th, and we've been in 11th for about 11 years, 11 months, 11 days, 11 weeks, whatever it is, but we feel like we've been in 11th forever, right? We actually would be better off having something to fight for right now. Because the problem is, we might not get beat 6-1. We might not lose like Tottenham do, 6-1 to Newcastle. We might not get 9 goals against us like Southampton. That will probably never happen. But I also said we'll probably never be in a relegation battle. I also said that there's no way it can get worse than Graham Potter. And all of these things have happened. My Chelsea that I know and love has just disappeared, dissolved before my very eyes. And unfortunately for Frank, this stint at Chelsea Football Club will ruin him as a manager. And honestly, I don't see any way out of this for Lampard as a manager moving forward than to become a pundit. How did Chelsea get out of this situation? We need this season to end. We absolutely need this season to end. And if you've been watching the Rebuilding Chelsea series, please do. I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description. Chelsea, I've been saying that Chelsea need to get rid of so many players. And I've been very kind saying that some of them are unsafe because I don't think it's possible to get rid of 20 players. Because, well, A, what are they worth? When players, this is the problem, right? When you see the starting 11 tonight, you've got some players that know that they've still got 1 or 2 good big moves ahead of them in their careers. So that the point of trying at Chelsea doesn't really exist other than personal pride. But what pride is there anymore with footballers? How many of these Chelsea players truly care about Chelsea Football Club? How many of these Chelsea players truly care about the fans that for whatever reason didn't stay at home to watch 2 brilliant football teams, City and Arsenal? I get it, of course. If I was in England right now, I'd have been at that game tonight, Chelsea versus Brentford. I would have been. And I wouldn't have been at home watching Man City, Arsenal. But the problem is the discord between what we expect as a minimum, and this is the craziest bit, what Chelsea fans expect as a minimum, these players aren't even interested in putting in. I am sorry, there is only a handful of players at this football club right now who A, deserve to have a contract, B, deserve to play. Mykhailo Mudryk, I don't know what this guy's got to do to get a start. Yes, he wasn't excellent when he came on, but there's potential there. Noni Madueke on the bench, Badiashile on the bench. Frank, what have you done? How on earth has it got to the point where I don't think there's a single Chelsea fan left who wants to see Frank Lampard in the dugout against Arsenal. And we've gone through Bruno, Tuchel, Potter, Lampard, 4 managers, and I'm asking for the 5th one of the season. I literally beg you, Bowley, just put Poch in now. I've changed my mind. I didn't think it was fair, but we are just at the lowest point we could ever be at. And I don't even know what else to say, to be honest. Chelsea is shocking. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I've had enough. I've absolutely had enough. The season needs to end now, and we need to sack this whole team. Bin 'em all.